Alright, hello, it's time for another update on my game development progress. If you haven't seen any of my videos before, I'm Alan. I make games under the name Pickle Cactus, and the game I've been making for the last few months is a game called Metal. Fool's Metal, which is a game where you play as this big fella who jumps around and breaks things. You don't just break things by jumping, you break things a lot of ways, like by hitting it with a pickaxe. Anyway, when I last showed the game about a month ago, yeah, a lot was still in flux, I'll go with that word. But in the last month or so I have added some cool new mechanics I thought I'd pop in today and highlight them. And just before I go into the mechanics, I thought a big thing I could show off was the new tile set. The rocks look a lot more blue, but they're also a lot less busy and a lot more readable. But anyway, let's get into more exciting stuff. So firstly, I have added what I call the Sparta kick. And you can see me just doing it in air right now, but it has, utility. So what I can do is if I see a dirt piece like that, I can just kick it and, use it to destroy things on the other side or move stuff around. Yeah, that's been my last weekend, really, actually. But this is something kind of like the last character action piece I've been trying to add in the game. Because you've got, as I said, you've got the hook, you've got your body slam, you've got the mining, and obviously you've got the jumping, which breaks stuff. I mean, I felt like the only missing piece was the ability to push something around. So that's where the kick comes in. And it's not just for kicking blocks. I mean, it's obviously very doable for kicking blocks, but it's also got the ability to kick enemies around. It serves as like an alt attack instead of the regular mine. Oh, there we go. It's still, I've only just been really adding in the Sparta kick this weekend, but it's really justified its existence. Almost certainly keeping this mechanic. But there was a reason the kick came in other than just the pushing side of the equation, and that was that I had been working on another dynamic level feature. I've had these boulders here for a while, right? And so they destroy things they touch. They're one of my favorite things in the game, actually, even though they're quite simple. But I was trying to think of more dynamic features that could destroy the level as you play, because I'm trying to lean into that destruction side of things, right? And obviously we've got the TNT that blows things up, but I can't just spam TNT everywhere, that gets a bit boring quickly. Oh shit, that was not the right approach. Yeah, so I don't want to just spam TNT, and the boulder I'm already using quite a lot, so I was thinking, oh, what else can I add to break things quickly, right? And that's where I have ended up landing on these totem domino type things. And this is where the kick comes into the equation as well, because you can, of course, kick them over, and then they will tip and then break whatever they land on. You can always mine them over as well. So yeah, the dominoes actually came first, and then I added the kick because I felt like they go hand in hand quite nicely. Whoa, it's unconventional. Yeah, and so ultimately these are going to be very volatile pieces that you can tip over intentionally or unintentionally. So I'd be thinking things like you knock an enemy into it and it will tip over. You kick a tile into it, like how I can kick the dirt rock tiles now, right? Kick a tile like that into a totem, it should tip over. The totems are pretty early in progress, so these kind of things are still cooking, but they're definitely there, and that's the idea. And then on that same note of dynamic things that tip over, this is my second biome still in progress. I wouldn't look too deeply at this. The design of this keeps changing every couple weeks, really. But what I am trying to show you is this. I have this really early in development, like, trap cage system. And oh god, it's so hideous and ugly. But the idea is there that you activate a button by accident, and it whoa, that's not what's supposed to happen. You activate a button, and it falls on you, and it kills you. And I think at the moment it's pushing the player out of the way, yeah, which is not the intention. It should be trapping them, and then you have to mine your way out. But this is another idea that I'm playing with that I'm not sure I'm going to keep. But you can just see the ideas that I'm kind of messing around with at the moment. And so the folder would activate the button, and then you trap the fall. This is one of my like test mechanic levels where I just try random mechanics together and then see if they're working, if they're not working, and then if they're not working, I just delete the feature completely. There's been quite a few features like that. I think another day, on another week, I'll make a whole video about all the features I've cut from this game, because there's a whole litany of them, really. But the main new things that I'm set in stone going to be using, they're going to be in the final game, is the kick and the I don't know what I'm calling them yet, but the totem dominoes. Definitely fairly fundamental to what the game's going to be from now on. And I'll probably use these, especially like the dominoes, they'll probably be the kind of thing that I'll be using more heavily in the second set of levels in this new biome, which I'm going to call the rot lands, because the theme's going to be rotting and decay, and hence the if you look at the background, there's the sludgy things going on there. But this is still pretty early. This is not too close to being done. I'm just playing around with early level ideas like this level where you essentially jump down. Kind of leaning into if you've played the game down well, or seen the game down well, which is a game where you go down a well by jumping. But of course, in Fool's Metal, you break things when you jump. Yeah. So this biome is not done yet. Not done yet by any measure. Still haven't need to cook some new enemies for it and stuff like that. Going back to the kick, I still need to test more thoroughly how it'll change these earlier levels that I designed, because I designed levels like this, well before the kick and push mechanics were even a thing. Like these levels are designed around hooking, right? Which is all pull mechanic, but then if I push as well as pull, and I'm not really certain on every scenario, how every scenario will be affected. I'm not sure if some levels will be made too easy now. I just need to go through and check these things, and that's what I've been doing before I polish the kick too heavily. But the kick will definitely stay. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying just Sparta kicking enemies off ledges like that. Have all sorts of things you can kick around into each other and have things detonating. But yet again, I'm not sure how early I will introduce the mechanic to the player. Obviously, like the jumping and the mining and the grapple are things that the player has access to basically from minute 1. I'm not sure if I'm going to have the kick be in that position. Maybe I will, maybe not. We're going to have to do a lot more playtesting to find out those kind of things, really. And so with this new kick and the domino and the rocks redesign and the, I guess, in progress Rotlands biome. I'll be using these to try hopefully make a new trailer in the coming weeks. I made a trailer about a month ago. That was kind of just a first look at the game, and I mean the visual style's even changed quite a bit since then in my opinion, and I don't really like looking at that trailer. So I'm really itching to make something new sooner rather than later, and then I can work towards, playable demo version, a more public playable demo. Obviously I've had the game playtested at some events, but I want an online accessible demo, whether that be Steam demo or somewhere else. Anyway, I'm starting to ramble now, so I'll wrap things up. Thanks for checking out my update on the game Fool's Metal, and if you want to see more, and my continued development and progress as things go along, then yeah, just give me a subscribe, follow, or wishlist the game on Steam. That's probably the best way to see how things are actually changing over time. Anyway, thanks again. Cheers.